welcome again to Rewa.com TV. I'm Alex Lush.
And I'm Charlie Gunningham.
And this month we're ringing the changes somewhat. We're going to have a round-the-table discussion with some well-known faces in the industry about the state of the property market.
And I'm looking at all things technological and how those gizmos and gadgets are changing the way we're getting our buying, selling and renting information.
But first, let's start with a good news story. We're off to Karratha. We're changing the goalpost slightly in our suburb section this month and looking at an area of WA instead. The Pilbara is bucking the state trend of a plateauing property market and is still very definitely on the up. In fact, it's running hot. Karratha came into being in the late 1960s to support the tremendous growth of the iron ore industry, and it's been a non-stop good news story, and we all need a little bit of that at the moment. House prices in Karratha range between $500,000 for an older, small one-bedroom unit to in excess of $1,300,000 for a new four-bedroom, two-bathroom home. Rents in the town range from $1,000 a week at their lowest to upwards of $2,500 a week for executive homes. Vacancy rates remain below 1% almost all year round, offering investors the comfort of year-round returns and outstanding rental rates. So there continues to be great expectations of this town and other areas of the Pilbara. With a population that's increasing with the uninterrupted growth of industry here, demand for housing can only continue to rise. Ryan Crawford of Crawford Realty has been in the business in the Pilbara for 3 years.
Property in the Pilbara up there at the moment is going gangbusters. There's definitely not enough supply for the demand that's coming from mining companies.
And that demand very much comes from obviously where the jobs are.
It does, yes, definitely based around the projects, what's happening in the region at the time, and the announcement of new expenditure budgets coming through, which at the moment looks set for the next decade in Newman, Headland and Karratha.
So what sort of properties are you seeing exchanging hands?
Look, there's a mix of properties in town. There is the old school style of, the old 1970s BHP homes and that are scattered through the towns. What we're seeing a lot of lately though is certainly a mix of new properties coming into the region that are new developments. There's new units, townhouses and a mix of commercial development as well.
Looking at Karratha in particular, what sort of returns are you seeing?
Look, in Karratha, you're looking between around the 10% mark as a starting point, through to as high as 12 and 13% on some of the new properties coming through. The rental market there has surged recently due to a lot of new workforces coming to town, and that as a result has obviously pushed those return levels right up.
So what kind of people are buying? Is it mainly investors?
Mainly investors, yes. There's some local people that do still buy. Some of the companies make up a component of the market, but the large end of the Karratha and Pilbara market is all investor based from around Australia.
Tell me, what kind of a place is Karratha to live in?
It's an interesting place. There's a lot of things going on there. There's great fishing. Obviously there's fantastic work and the salaries are amazing up there. It is definitely a fantastic town though. For one of the regional towns in a northwest Pilbara town, it is a great place to live.
Karratha's obviously growing at a great pace. Can it sustain this growth?
Well, it's all heavily based obviously around the mining projects and what's happening. So the infrastructure projects that have been committed to for the next 10 years are 2 to 3 times what they've even done in the last 20 years in Karratha. So certainly from an industry point of view, there's a lot more coming. They're not catching up in any sense of the word to the housing problem. So at this point it does look like obviously the growth that has been experienced over the last few years is going to continue on.
A few weeks ago, I was at the Real Estate Connect conference in San Francisco, and to see how technology is changing the real estate transaction was eye-opening. There seems to be 4 major trends. Firstly, it's social. There's no doubt that Facebook and other social media networks have gone mainstream. With 900,000 accounts in WA, Facebook.com is now where people are, and therefore where real estate information is being passed on, commented on, posted, liked and shared. Around the world there are 1.8 billion email accounts, but over 3 billion social media accounts. If your property is not on Facebook somehow, you could argue that it's not being promoted fully. Some of the best agents in the States and here in Australia are now gaining 50% of their business from social media contacts. 20% of people looking for rental properties search Twitter. Sellers are finding their agents using LinkedIn. More and more people check in on Foursquare and interact that way. Shake your head if you like, but by the time you finish bemoaning this, more people would have connected, shared and maybe done some business on social networks. Okay, secondly, it's mobile. Mobile computing is here and a major trend. Already 8% of Rewa.com traffic is on a mobile device, mostly iPhone or an iPad. And the time spent on these devices is longer than on a PC. People now expect information, including real estate information, on the go, anytime, all the time. Their mobile is their computer. The new Rewa.com app is now available on iPhone and Android phones and Windows 7 Nokia phones. It knows where you're standing, it sends properties to maps in that area, and allows you to surf through home opens and even download the latest Rewa real estate stats. Engagement with the property on a mobile device is much higher than on a PC, and the user is 3 times more likely to call the agent than someone who's browsing the same listing on a regular computer. So, on to number 3, touch. Something that has heralded the fast approaching death of the PC has been the explosion in the tablet market, led by the irrepressible Apple iPad. It's incredible to think that this device only came out 14 months ago. It's now all-pervading. Not only do we want information on our mobile device, the iPad allows us to access pretty much anything a laptop can handle, instantly booted up and so easy to use. Touch has become the new way we interact with data, and the iPad develops this aspect perfectly. Lastly, number 4. It's about lifestyle. 18 months before someone moves home, they're thinking about lifestyle changes. Property searching comes next, about a month or so before the property is bought or rented. But the first thing that comes into people's minds is, do we have enough space for our family? How far is the commute into the city for my new job? Where are the good public schools? What about the parks? How far to the beach? It's these questions that go through people's minds. You're really buying into the lifestyle of an area. So more and more sites try to work a lifestyle search into the property search, such as Walk Score on the new westrealestate.com.au website, a site that features all the Rewa.com listings and is promoted by 7 West Media, the publisher of the West Australian newspaper here in Perth. So that's it for the Techno Babble, and that's where real estate is heading.
Okay, look, the market is the market. I think it's certainly not what it was like some years ago, and I think what we as realtors need to do is get on with it. Certainly we're seeing some good pockets out there in the marketplace. Forestfield and Thornley and Balladura, they're moving very well. But there's certainly some good regional areas that are really expanding for us. Certainly Karratha is very good, and Kalgoorlie, great places to invest at the moment.
This is a real market. A lot of real estate agents that have come in the last 5 years or less haven't seen this market, and we're seeing the same in pockets like Forestfield and Kelmscott and Dinella and out that way. Thornley is an area that's growing really well for us.
Yeah, look, there are a lot of really good pockets, but it's funny how no matter where you go, the price is the key piece.
Absolutely.
Karratha, Balladura, price is key.
Yeah, for sure. And look, consumer confidence, I think if the price is right, it's at a realistic level. Consumers are sitting back and thinking, hey, if I wait a few more days, might something else better pop up? But I think we've certainly bottomed out. It's unknown what's going to happen in the short-term future, but I think certainly now's a great time to get involved and buy property.
Absolutely, it's a buyer's market. And consumers are a lot more informed than what they were, 6-7 years ago with Rewa.com and other places out there where consumers can get this information. They know that when the property is priced well, they will make an offer.
Great time for investors to get into the marketplace. A vacancy of 3% or 3.2%, good return for investors. And I think what we're seeing in some areas is a lot of upgraders. People are starting to upgrade into homes that are affordable now. Certainly areas like Canning Vale and Ocean Reef, people are getting into those areas because they've upgraded themselves, which is a good time to do it.
With the price being right, what we have noticed is like we had one office, 40 people through the home open in Leeming, first home open. So price is key in this market, and agents need to be aware of pricing right for their
That's where
sellers.
that advice comes through, because there's lots to choose from.
Yep.
Never more property to choose from. Got to get the price right,
Or get the price out of it.
Yeah, and I think what we've said is it's all about consumer confidence. Interest rates are at the best rate they've been for a long time. There's no excuse not to get to the market, although the lending criteria has become a bit stricter after the US crash, but I think it's a great time to get involved.
It also gives a lot of strength to using a broker. The banks are now giving us very different answers.
Yeah,
For sure.
Brokers are able to sift through that.
we're seeing that through our home loans group. They're getting a lot more work.
all in all, I think it's looking very positive. Interest rates are good. Certainly consumer confidence will come back with possibly a change of government or some better leadership. But I think Western Australia in a whole is in a very good position. We're the 6th most desired place to live in the world. It's just a matter of affordability and just getting some confidence back into the market.
Well, that's it for now. Next time we're going to be covering, well, we're going to let you decide where we're going to be covering. With just 2 episodes left in the series, we'd like you to let us know which suburb you'd like us to come and cover.
So head over to our Facebook page or tweet us at REWA, and we'd love to hear from you.
That's it for now, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
Bye.